In this GCSE revision video, we're going to look at how to find the nth term of a linear sequence such as the one shown here. A linear sequence is one in which the numbers go up or down by the same amount each time. And the first thing we're going to do to find our formula for the nth term is to find that difference. So let's look at the difference between 5 and 8. Well, that's going up by 3. Then 8 to 11, that's also going up by 3, and so on through the sequence. So we know it's linear because it's going up by the same amount. But what we can now do is we take this number, and this number becomes our multiple of n. So our formula is going to begin 3n. The next thing to do is to take the sequence that's 3n, so that's just the 3 times table, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and so on. And we're going to compare that to the sequence that we've got, our 5, 8, 11, 14, 17. So looking at the first term, we've got 3, but we want 5, so to get there we would need to add 2. For the second term, 6 to 8, we'd need to add 2, and so on all the way through. And if we've done the first step correctly, we should be getting the same number for each bit here. And there we go. We can use those to find the nth term, so our formula is going to be 3n plus 2. And it's always a good idea at this point just to pick a random term and check that it works. So let's go for the fifth term, because we've got up to 5 terms at the top. The fifth term would be 3 times 5, which is 15, plus 2, which is 17. So if that works, you can be fairly confident that you've got the right formula. Let's try another example. So this time we've got the sequence 4, 9, 14, 19, 24. So again, we're going to compare the difference between each term. So 4 to 9 is plus 5, 9 to 14 is also plus 5, and then the same all the way through. So this plus 5 means our formula is going to start 5n. If we look at the 5 times table, compare that to where we want to get. So that first term, we've got 5, but we want 4, so to get there we'd have to take away 1. And it's the same all the way through. To get from 10 to 9, we would take away 1, and so on, and so on. So this means that our formula for the nth term is 5n minus 1. And again, let's pick a random term, see if it works. Let's go for the fourth term this time. So the fourth term is 5 times 4, which is 20, minus 1, which is 19, which is indeed the fourth term of our sequence. And what about if we've got a decreasing sequence? So this one goes 20, 17, 14, 11, 8. So again, we're just going to check the difference between each term. So from 20 to 17 is minus 3, 17 to 14 is minus 3, and so on through. So we know it's a linear sequence because that difference is the same each time. And again, we're going to take this as our multiple of n to begin our nth term formula. So it's going to begin minus 3 times n. Now, if it was just minus 3 times n, our sequence would be minus 3 times 1 is minus 3, minus 3 times 2 is minus 6, and so on. But we want to get to 20, 17, and so on. So let's look at that first term. To get from minus 3 up to 20, we'd need to add 23. It's the same to get from minus 6 to 17, and so on, so on. So our formula for the nth term must be minus 3n plus 23. Or 23 minus 3n if you'd rather write it that way round. Either of them is fine. And we can also do the same thing with fractions. So if the top and the bottom both make linear sequences, we can work them out separately and put these as our formula. So let's look at the top. From 2 to 4, we're adding 2. From 4 to 6, we're adding 2, adding 2, adding 2. So we've got a linear sequence on top of our fractions. We're adding 2, so it's going to be 2n. But our sequence is just 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That is the sequence 2n. So we've worked out the top. So let's look at the bottom. So this time we're adding 3 each time. So again, it's a linear sequence. It's going to begin 3n. So let's compare this to our 3 times table. The first term of 3n is 3, but we want to get to 5. So we're going to add 2, and we can just double check it works all the way through. So 6 add 2 is 8, 9 add 2 is 11. And so on. So the top numbers of our fractions have got the formula 2n. The bottom numbers have got the formula 3n plus 2. So our formula for the nth term is going to be 2n over 3n plus 2. If you've enjoyed this video, Don't forget to subscribe or check out more of my videos by clicking on the links here.